And we turn now to the president's speech itself. Hanging over this speech were the shadows of other wars and other presidencies. President Obama tonight sought not only to make it clear that Libya is not Iraq, but also that he is not President George W. Bush or even President Bill Clinton. Tonight, President Obama's goal was simple: to explain to a public skeptical about the war he's launched in Libya
what we've done, what we plan to do, and why this matters to us.
It has been 10 days since Mr. Obama ordered U.S. forces into combat in Libya. Nearly 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles launched, more than 1,600 airstrikes. And so the challenge for the president: justify this war and show Americans that the U.S. role really will be brief and limited.
The United States and the world faced a choice. Gaddafi declared he would show no mercy to his own people. He compared them to rats and threatened to go door to door to inflict punishment.
It was Muammar Gaddafi, Obama said, who was the main reason for war. He was about to launch a massacre of his own people.
It was not in our national interest to let that happen. I refused to let that happen.
And so the attack began. One question has hovered over this mission: how is it in the strategic interests of the United States to go to war in Libya? Robert Gates, Obama's own Secretary of Defense, complicated matters for his boss on ABC's This Week yesterday.
Do you think Libya posed an actual or imminent threat to the United States?
No, it was not. It was not a vital national interest to the United States, but it was an interest.
Tonight, President Obama sought to explain. He said that standing by while Gaddafi crushed the rebellion could destabilize neighboring Egypt and Tunisia and cast a shadow over the freedom movement sweeping the Arab world. But in the end, it is really a moral case the president is making for war.
Some nations may be able to turn a blind eye to atrocities in other countries. The United States of America is different. And as president, I refuse to wait for the images of slaughter and mass graves before taking action.
The action in Libya has turned the tide. Rebel forces have now retaken all the territory they had lost to Gaddafi's troops as Allied airstrikes have grounded the dictator's planes and paved the way towards Tripoli. But that may have been the easy part. Today, the rebel advance halted before the city of Sirte, Gaddafi's hometown, where his far better equipped forces have hunkered down. And that leads to another question for the president. Is helping the rebels get rid of Gaddafi the goal?
If we tried to overthrow Gaddafi by force, our coalition would splinter. The dangers faced by our men and women in uniform would be far greater. So would the costs and our share of the responsibility for what comes next. To be blunt, we went down that road in Iraq.
And we aren't doing that again, the president said. But war has its own merciless logic, and history is littered with such declarations. The questions about Libya keep coming. Who are these rebels? Are they really pro-democracy? What happens if Gaddafi doesn't go? Could Libya's civil war drag that country into Somalia-style chaos? President Obama didn't answer those questions. Instead, he declared that our ancient values are now our vital interests as the Middle East erupts in popular and unpredictable revolutions.
We can make a difference. I believe that this movement of change cannot be turned back, and that we must stand alongside those who believe in the same core principles that have guided us through many storms.